Have you ever had a moment when a thought popped into your mind and you wondered, is this just my imagination or is it something greater, a divine intuition trying to guide me? I've been there. For a long time, I felt lost trying to separate these two voices within me. I want to share with you what I discovered on this journey and how it transformed the way I live. In 3 simple steps, I'll show you how I learned to distinguish my thoughts from the voice of divine consciousness. I'll also share how both Western and Eastern cultures view this same dilemma, and how their insights help me find answers that might also help you. Step 1. Understanding your thoughts. The first step for me was understanding the nature of my thoughts. They come from everything we've experienced, memories, fears, and even opinions we've absorbed without realizing it. For example, how many times have you found yourself stuck in repetitive thoughts that only heightened your anxiety? That used to happen to me all the time. I learned that these thoughts are like echoes of past experiences. They react to the world around us, but often bring more confusion than clarity. In Western culture, thinking is highly valued, but it can also become overwhelming. In contrast, Eastern culture teaches the practice of observing thoughts without clinging to them. This perspective was a turning point for me. I remember trying a simple exercise that changed everything. I would close my eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine my thoughts as clouds in the sky. They would pass, but not stay. This helped me realize that, at my core, I wasn't my thoughts, I was the one observing them. Step 2. Recognizing the voice of divine consciousness. This is where I began to notice something remarkable. Whenever the voice of divine consciousness appeared, it felt different. It was calm, like a river flowing gently. Instead of bringing more questions, it brought simple and clear answers. You know that feeling of peace you get, even when everything around you feels chaotic. That's how I began to recognize this voice. For instance, during a moment when I was filled with doubt, a clear and loving intuition guided me to do something small but life-changing. And here's the most fascinating part. The divine voice doesn't try to convince you. It simply is. While our minds often shout, the divine voice whispers. To hear it, I realized I needed to learn how to quiet the inner noise. Step 3. Practicing inner silence. But how do you quiet the mind? This was one of the most challenging questions for me. I discovered that it's not about stopping your thoughts, but creating space between them. I started with simple practices, meditation and prayer. I remember the first time I decided to just sit in silence. At first, it felt impossible. My mind was like a noisy party, but over time, 5 minutes of focusing solely on my breath became my sanctuary. It's in this silence that divine consciousness reveals itself, not as something forced, but like a friend who shows up when you least expect it. Eastern culture helped me a lot here. They see silence as a space where wisdom emerges. In the West, we often think we need to always do something, but sometimes the answer lies in simply being. And so, step by step, I learned to distinguish between what came from my mind and what was the divine consciousness speaking through me. This journey taught me that when we create space to listen, the answers appear. If you want to dive deeper into this topic, make sure to watch the video, How to Overcome Fear and Trust Divine Intuition in Moments of Decision, which I've prepared on a similar subject. If you're like me, I'm sure you'll want to take the next step